Seaman, a 150-pound Newfoundland, came along on the trip. He was the first dog to make the trek across North America. I read that Seaman liked to catch squirrels, and Lewis wrote in his journal that fried squirrel was very tasty. He actually proved to be very valuable in other ways. Can you explain?
Only a few days into the trip, Seaman actually saved our lives. One night, a buffalo charged our camp, and Seaman ran towards it, causing the buffalo to change direction away from our camp. We named the creek in Seaman's honor.
I also remember when we met the Shawnees. They wanted to buy semen. They offered 3 beaver skins to purchase semen. You said no deal.
Your expedition used democratic methods since all the members had say in making decisions. You can tell us a bit more?
We used to show of hands when a vote was called. For example, we took a vote to determine where to settle for the winter. The vote was taken on November 24, 1805. It was the very first time an election was held west of the Mississippi River. We also allowed Sacagawea and York to participate in the voting process. This was historic, as it wouldn't be until 1920 that the 19th Amendment would give the women the right to vote in our country. African Americans got the right to vote in 1870 with the 15th Amendment.
About 182 species of plants and approximately 120 mammals, fish, birds, and reptiles previously unknown were discovered on your expedition. Some of the creatures you came upon included coyotes, harbor seals, sea otter, mountain beavers, mountain goats, grizzly bears, and bison. One unusual mammal you came upon was a prairie dog. Can you tell us about the prairie dog?
They bark like dogs and we call them barking squirrels. The prairie dogs are not dogs, they are rodents. They stand up on their back legs and make a whistling sound. They live in underground villages. I remember one of the men placing 5 barrels of water into one of the holes and it still didn't fill up. We were very impressed with these creatures and sent one back to President Jefferson as a gift. It lived the rest of its life in the White House.
Your expedition dealt with many hardships. You had blizzards and served cold temperatures during the winter months and extremely hot temperatures in the summer months. You had little food at times and fought grizzly bears. You also came across some not so friendly Native Americans, including Lieutenant Sixon. You actually had to fight some Blackfeet. What were some other problems you faced on your expedition?
I remember we had to carry all our supplies in canoes over land for more than 1 month to get around the Great Falls. It was exhausting, climbing the Rockies. Also, it was difficult. Fortunately, the Nez Perce people gave us some food and a place to stay after the crossing.
The mosquitoes were horrible. Some counted that I actually spelled the word mosquitoes in my journals 26 different ways. The flies were a problem too. Another thing that caused lots of discomfort were the foxtail barb seeds. They got into our clothing and caused lots of pain.
You actually reached the Pacific Ocean. Tell us about your thoughts and seeing the Pacific for the very first time.
I wrote in my journal, ocean in view, open joy. Actually, we were still about 20 miles from the coastline of the Pacific. We could hear the roaring waves.
I remember hoping that we'd see masts of ships so we could travel home by water. Unfortunately, we did not. We spent the winter on the coast before traveling back to St. Louis.
This has been a fun show. Thanks, Lewis and Clark, for being my guests. You shared so much with my audience about your expedition to explore the Louisiana Territory.
Thanks for
inviting us. We had a good time.
Did you know
Originally given $25,000, the expedition came around $38,000.
Did you know?
President Jefferson thought that the expedition might come upon woolly mammoths. They did not.
Did you know?
The Lewis and Clark expedition, which left St. Louis in 1804, traveled approximately 8,000 miles before they returned in 1806.
Did you know?
Did you know that the expedition didn't see any people go forward?
Did you know?
Only one person on the course of discovery died on the journey. He died on academics.
Did you know?
Sacagawea gave up her beaded belt so Lewis and Clark could trade it for a fur coat to bring back to President Jefferson.
Did you know?
when the expedition met Sachs, Lewis purchased the teepee.
Did you know?
When they were trying to trip one of the men accidentally shot Lewis in the thigh. He had very bad vision and mistook Lewis as an elk.
Let's do the round of applause.